Hi, my name is Michelle Bader. Welcome to 8 Ways to Learn. Did you know that there are actually 8 different ways that children and adults learn? It's not just visual or auditory, there's so much more. Howard Gardner invented the theory of multiple intelligences, and what we do here at 8 Ways to Learn is we help identify which way your child learns best. There are 8 different intelligences. The first one is called interpersonal intelligence. These are the children that are very social. They thrive by being around other children. They thrive in groups. These are the children and the students that are going to work best when they're working with others. Let's say they were at school and they were to do a project about an insect. They were learning about insects. The best way for them to do it would be for them to be in a group so they could talk through it. These are your social butterflies. This might be your child who always likes to be around other people. They actually get energy from being around other people, and that is the interpersonal intelligence. The next one is called intrapersonal. Now, intrapersonal students are introverts. They actually get energy from being alone. They thrive best from working by themselves. So if they were at school and needed to respond to the insect unit, what would be best for them is to work alone. They do not love working in groups, although it's something that they have to learn over time. It is not the best way for them to learn. So these students, they don't want to be with other people studying. They want to be studying alone and spending time doing their own thing. They're often very reflective people. They know their feelings very, very well. They might like to journal, and they're just very in touch with who they are, and they like being alone. The next intelligence is called kinesthetic intelligence. These are the children who are moving all the time. They can't sit still. It's the tappers, the movers. And oftentimes as parents or teachers, we might be saying, sit still, but really that's not the best thing for them when they are learning. They need to be able to move and to learn. For instance, a child who is needing to improve in math and is a kinesthetic learner is going to need to be moving like 2 times 2 is 4, those kind of things, so that they can remember. It just triggers something in their brain to help them remember. These children are often athletes. They love playing sports. They love PE. They love anything that involves moving. I know from personal experience, because this is my dominant intelligence, that anytime I'm moving, I remember things more. When I'm at the gym and I'm listening to something, I always remember it because I do it while I'm moving. If I'm just sitting there, I'm not necessarily going to remember it. But if I do it while moving, I will remember it. So we want to encourage these children to be able to move as they're learning, both in the classroom and at home. This student could reflect best on the insect project by being allowed to do some kind of skit, some kind of movement where they're able to express things through moving. The next intelligence is the naturalistic intelligence. These are the children who love being in nature. They are always outside. They've got their pet rocks, their pet insects. They love camping and hiking and fishing and anything outdoors. They love pets. And these children thrive best when they are outdoors learning. Inside isn't always necessarily the best place for them. They can learn best. So the insect unit, they are going to thrive in this one by being outside, studying the insect, being in nature, and being around it. These students just love being outside. The next intelligence is the visual spatial intelligence. Now these are the children who are very visual. They learn best by seeing. So if you tell them something, they might not remember it. If you write it down and they see it, they will remember it. Their mind works best in pictures and seeing things. They're often very good at arts and crafts and drawing and painting and all kinds of things where they are seeing things. Their child would respond best to the insect unit by making a clay model of the insect or painting it or something where they can use their visual spatial intelligence. The next is called the mathematical logical intelligence. These are the sequential children who like to know A plus B equals C, 1 plus 1 equals 2. They like routine. They like to know this is coming next. They like to know if I do this, this will happen. Black and white. Now these students are going to thrive best, obviously, in the subject of math. That's probably going to be their favorite, but anything that is logical and sequential. So you would want to have them reflect on the insect unit by doing something that includes numbers, maybe adding up the insects, something where they can use their logic and their mathematical sequence. The next is the musical intelligence, and this intelligence is people who learn best by music. They love music. They might be singing all the time. They might play an instrument. They're just very musical, listening to music all the time. Now, these children and adults learn best when you put things to music. For example, let's say you have a child struggling in math. The best way for them to learn their math facts would be to put it to music. I know from personal experience, I have a child who is musical, and this is the best way. I've helped her study for tests by putting what she needs to know to music, and she remembers it like that. So if you have a student struggling and you find out they are musically dominant intelligence, then I would highly recommend getting music, making up music, letting them play instruments. They would respond best in the insect unit by making a song about the insects and getting to use that part of their intelligence. The last one is called the verbal linguistic intelligence, and these are the children who love to read, they love to write anything with words, they have a great vocabulary, they just love reading and writing and journaling and anything to do with language. So they are going to respond best by writing about the insect they learned about, reading about it, writing about it, and doing things that way. And so these students, they just really thrive in anything that has to do with reading and writing, which a lot of school does. So they may already be thriving if that is their dominant intelligence. So what we do here at 8 Ways to Learn is we sit down with your child, and through a series of questions and interaction, we are able to identify what is their top intelligence, what is their second one, what is their highest, what is their lowest, and then from that information, we are able to share with you, this is the way you can best support your child. Whether your child doesn't need help at school or they do need help at school, whether you just want to know how they best learn, or if you want some extra help, we can help you. So you can have us just sit down with your child, whether that's online or in person if you're in the Vancouver, Portland area. We can sit down and we can figure out how do they learn best. After we've identified that, I give you a bunch of resources. So then you say, okay, now I know this, now how do I help my child? I'm telling you, it is like unlocking a superpower. Seriously, I've worked with kids, and when you show them how they learn best and they've never known that before, it's huge. Their belief in themselves begins to grow. It begins to grow as they say, wow, I can do this. So I actually take time to teach them about the 8 different intelligences and help them to discover what is theirs. And it is amazing to see what happens when they know that. And if you're local, Vancouver or Portland, I can meet with you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever's going to be best for you and your child. And what I do is I actually make an individual plan for that student. Let's say that they are musically dominant and they're struggling in math. Well, I'm going to figure out where they are, which grade, what your goals are for them, and then I'm going to help them according to that intelligence. So many kids are struggling in school. It's not because they don't get it, they just aren't learning in their dominant intelligence. My goal is to help as many students as possible believe in themselves. I think that's the most important thing when working with children, is get them to believe in themselves. If they can believe in themselves, they really can't accomplish anything. And when you unlock that intelligence for them and you show them how they are very smart in this area and how they can do better in school, it's amazing what could happen. So my goal is really to help as many students as possible, help end the frustration with parents, help the teachers be able to know how to help their students, because teachers are busy and they don't have time to identify and work with every single student on every single lesson plan in all these intelligences. And that's where you and I come in. That's where I can help you to help your student and to help the teacher. So I hope that this has been informative to you. If you are interested in learning about any of the services, you can fill out the form below that says contact me. You can put any questions that you have. My phone number is listed there as well. You can give me a call. I'd love to discuss the goals you have for your child in any way that I can help. So thank you for learning more about 8 Ways to Learn.